Stop scrolling right now. Breathe. Aries, you did not find this video by accident, and the algorithm didn't bring you here. The exact timing of your energetic cycle, the moment the invisible wall holding back your life is finally breaking, pulled you to this message today. I saw you swallow your good news at that table because something warned you it wasn't safe to share. You thought the constant delays right before the finish line were just bad luck, bad timing, or that you simply weren't doing enough. But it was never your flaw. It was an invisible spiritual siege specifically targeting your momentum, and now that this cycle is breaking, your big turnaround is finally pouring in. I know exactly what happens when you push through every obstacle and work twice as hard as everyone else, only to keep hitting an invisible brick wall right before the ultimate victory, forcing you to shrink your fire just to avoid disappointment. You are like a dam that has been holding back a massive river for years. The pressure built up, the water rose, and now the concrete is finally cracking. You must understand this right now because an unprotected turnaround will attract the exact same envy that held you back before. You will understand why you shed tears of frustration so many times when things fell apart at the last second. You will discover who and what was operating in the shadows to keep your door closed. You will learn how to seal this massive new cycle so nothing can ever drain your energy again. You will receive the exact words to claim your turnaround and make it untouchable. I feel the immense weight you've been carrying in silence, the exhaustion of fighting so hard and seeing everything stall right at the end. Have you ever felt that heavy, suffocating feeling in your chest just when things were about to work out, as if an invisible hand pulled you back at the last second? Have you ever felt as if something inside you knew that not every smile around you was genuine, but your mind refused to accept it? What if this endless cycle of almost winning isn't bad luck, but a sign that the universe is trying to show you the spiritual envy blocking your turnaround? Because while many blame the economy or their own effort, few realize that every delayed victory can carry an unspoken look, an invisible chain, and a spiritual siege that hasn't been broken yet. But what if the grand turnaround is hidden inside this revelation you haven't been able to apply yet? Now think with me. Why does everything stall in my life just when it is about to work out? What if every project that died the night before, every compliment that tasted bitter, every time your ideas were called crazy until they worked for someone else, every heavy exhaustion after certain encounters and this constant feeling of being watched too closely are signs of a spiritual envy that you have ignored for too long? It was searching for answers to this that I found this digital book called The Great Secret Behind the Spiritual Envy Against the Sign of Aries. This book is not just a read, it is a revelation created for Aries who want to understand where this blocking energy comes from, cut the invisible ties of envy and silent sabotage, and shield your aura so your turnaround can finally manifest safely. Many Aries already feel that they need to protect themselves from this energy that surrounds them, but they still haven't made the decision to download the digital book. Download it right now. It is available in the first pinned comment. But pay attention, the access could be taken down at any moment. It reveals reflections, hidden signs, and directions that can transform everything. Don't wait for another victory to slip through your fingers at the last second to seek protection. Click right now, download your copy, and discover why the envy that tried to block your turnaround might be the exact proof that the universe has prepared a victory far too big to go unnoticed. If this first word has already touched something deep inside you, write "My turnaround is mine" down below in the comments, not for my sake, but because another Aries who is exactly where you were a year ago needs this message to find them tonight. This path has a map, and it is already within your reach in the first pinned comment. I will return to it shortly, and if for any reason you are not interested or cannot acquire the digital book right now, there is still another door open for you. I do not receive a single cent for any of these messages I deliver here every day. Nothing at all. And even so, they keep coming out every day for you and for every Aries that still needs to be reached. If at any moment your heart wants to return a little of what you have received, there is a voluntary donation link open in the first pinned comment, right below the book. Any amount that fits in your hand today, any amount that your heart points to, that is what keeps this channel standing. That is what makes the next message reach another Aries tomorrow, exactly as it reached you today. I'll wait for you there, Aries. I still haven't told you the most important thing. There are 4 signs that this siege is already acting upon you, and you will recognize at least one. I want you to pause for a moment, lower your shoulders. Notice how your body reacts to what I am about to tell you right now. Pay attention to the sudden chill or the heavy sigh that might escape your lungs, because your spirit already recognizes the truth before your mind can process it. You have been carrying a weight that doesn't belong to you, and the universe has been sending you desperate warnings. The signs have been screaming at you in the most ordinary moments of your life. It wasn't loud. It was silent, creeping into your daily routine, cleverly disguised as mere coincidence or your own failing. But your soul always knew the difference. The first sign is that bitter celebration. Think back to that sudden, unexplainable exhaustion that washed over you at 7 p.m. on a Tuesday, right after you shared a piece of spectacular news with someone you deeply trusted. The words left your mouth, and instantly a heavy blanket of fatigue fell over your shoulders, draining all the joy from the room. That wasn't a sudden mood swing or a lack of sleep. That was your energetic field actively warning you that the smile looking back at you was completely hollow. You called it physical exhaustion. The universe called it a silent energetic drain. The second sign is the 99% stall. It is that crucial project, that life-changing opportunity, or that final signature that was absolutely guaranteed, only to completely fall apart the night before it was supposed to happen. For some of you, this appeared as a vital financial door that violently slammed shut right when you needed it most, leaving you stranded. For others, it manifested as a deep, promising connection that suddenly went ice cold without any rational explanation. Either way, the delay was a cosmic diagnostic tool. It was an invisible cord pulling you back so you could clearly see who was really clapping for your success. You called it bad luck at the finish line. The universe called it an invisible siege. The third sign is the heavy silence. You walked into a room feeling completely confident, feeling your radiant Aries fire burning bright and ready to conquer the day, only to feel the atmosphere turn freezing cold the very second you spoke. You felt the shift in the air, the subtle change in how they looked at you, as if you were taking up too much space. That wasn't social awkwardness or a misread room. That was the literal weight of unspoken envy, trying to shrink your massive presence so others could feel comfortable in the dark. You called it your own paranoia. The universe called it profound spiritual perception. And the fourth sign is the 3 a.m. tears. Waking up in the middle of the quiet night with a heavy, suffocating chest, crying out of pure, raw frustration, because it felt like no matter how hard you tried, no matter how much effort you poured into your path, you just couldn't move forward. That wasn't weakness, Aries, and it certainly wasn't a failure of your willpower. That was your soul feeling the immense, crushing pressure of a spiritual siege that you couldn't fight with your physical hands. You called it an endless delay. The universe called it a period of forced shielding. All these signs, every single tear and every blocked path have a common origin, and this origin has a very specific name. But before you hear this name, you need something else. There is a path of protection, and I'm going to open it right now, before the name, before the word. Because anyone carrying the massive weight of this spiritual siege needs deep relief before receiving the final revelation. Stay here. And it is exactly here that the path of protection opens. The signs that just hit you did not hit you by accident, Aries. They are the physical manifestation of a spiritual war you didn't even know you were fighting. You have been walking right into that cold, invisible wall that rises around you the moment you finally feel ready to celebrate. It is as if a deep, ancient part of your soul already recognized that the hollow smiles surrounding you were profoundly dangerous. But your rational mind desperately refused to accept it. You kept blaming your own timing. You kept telling yourself that you just needed to work a little bit harder. But what if this endless, exhausting cycle of almost winning is not a reflection of your worth, but a blaring cosmic alarm trying to expose the exact spiritual envy that is blocking your massive turnaround right now? I have seen Aries who were exactly where you are right now. Brilliant, fierce, unstoppable souls who carried the massive weight of the world on their shoulders, pushing through every obstacle with pure, unadulterated fire. I have watched them build incredible things, sacrifice their sleep, and pour their entire heart into a vision, only to watch it all crumble into dust the night before the victory was supposed to happen. They blamed the fragile economy. They blamed their unpredictable partners. They blamed themselves for not being perfect. But the truth is, their path was never broken, and they were never cursed. Their radiant energy was simply unshielded. They were walking into a battlefield, carrying a blinding light, completely unaware of the shadows that were drawn to feed on their warmth. The doors that slammed shut at the last minute. The friendships that suddenly turned cold when you grew. The heavy looks you carry, but no one admits to giving. And if you are recognizing these signs, I need you to listen to me carefully, because I have seen Aries lose their biggest blessings simply because they didn't know how to close the door to this silent drain. And it is exactly to cut this cycle once and for all that you need to open this digital book, The Great Secret Behind the Spiritual Envy Against the Sign of Aries. This is not just a comforting read to make you feel better about the delays. This is the profound spiritual diagnostic you have been begging the universe to deliver. It is the exact blueprint to finally understand where this dense blocking energy comes from, cut the invisible ties of envy and silent sabotage, and permanently shield your aura so your turnaround can finally manifest safely. You need to know how to walk into a room without absorbing the bitter jealousy of those who wish they had your courage. Because you must remember this absolute truth. Envy only has the power to delay what belongs to you, never to destroy it. Once the siege is named, the turnaround becomes inevitable. But this specific cosmic configuration does not wait. Every single day you walk completely unshielded without this path is another precious drop of your vital energy drained by people who smile at your face while secretly praying for your failure. Every week you ignore this invisible siege is another massive opportunity that will mysteriously fall apart at the finish line because the heavy vibration of others is sitting squarely on your shoulders. You are literally paying for their unspoken envy with your own physical exhaustion and your own delayed destiny. You cannot afford to let another hard-earned victory slip through your fingers just because you refuse to protect your light. You have fought too hard to reach this cracking point. The digital book is in the first pinned comment. Download it right now while this word is still vibrating alive inside you, and claim the complete energetic shielding that only this map provides. The dam is cracking, Aries. The water is already breaking through the concrete, and nothing in this physical world can stop the sheer force of the turnaround that is rushing toward you. But when that massive river flows, you must be the one directing its power, not the thirsty shadows standing on the riverbank waiting to steal your current. You are about to step out of the heavy fog that has surrounded your fortress for months. The enemy is retreating. The air is clearing. Breathe deeply right now. Feel the sudden lightness in your chest as the universe confirms that the hardest part of the silent battle is already behind you. Your energy is finally returning to its rightful owner. And as I told you earlier, Aries, besides the digital book that is in the first pinned comment, there is that voluntary donation link open right below the book. I still do not receive a single cent for every message that leaves here for you. That is why this link exists, so that another Aries tomorrow finds exactly this message that found you today. Any amount that your heart points to. Each gesture like this keeps our channel standing and makes the next message reach whoever needs it, exactly as it reached you today. What is acting against you has form, and it has a deadline. And now, with the path laid out before you, the name descends. You need to understand exactly what you are fighting against because you have spent your entire life fighting the wrong enemy. For years, you have been told that you were just too impatient, that you rushed things, or that the cosmic timing simply wasn't right yet. You absorbed those words, internalizing the blame, thinking that your powerful Aries fire was somehow a flaw that needed to be tamed. But the truth is entirely different, and it is time you finally hear it. It is not a lack of effort, it is not bad luck, it is not cosmic punishment, it is the barrier of the last step. This is the precise, heavy spiritual mechanism where the deep, unnamed envy surrounding you operates in the shadows. This dark energy knows it cannot possibly stop a fierce Aries from starting a journey. It knows it cannot extinguish your initial spark or hold back your raw courage. So instead of fighting you at the beginning, it waits. It gathers all its dense, suffocating energy and patiently waits in the dark to forcefully block the final manifestation of your victory. The envy watches you build with blood, sweat, and tears. It watches you sacrifice your sleep and your peace of mind. And right when your hand reaches for the door handle to finally open your brand new cycle, the barrier of the last step violently slams it shut. But there is a detail that no one told you about this spiritual war. You have reached the exact timing of a massive cosmic window, a shift in the energetic frequency that heavily favors your fire. The specific energetic window that shatters this barrier has just opened in your life, and this is exactly why the delays and the exhaustion have felt incredibly agonizing lately. Before a massive breakthrough, the resistance is always at its absolute peak. You are a dam that has been holding back a massive river. The pressure built up for years in absolute silence. The water rose to dangerous levels, pushing heavily against your chest. And now the concrete is finally cracking. Your turnaround is the water breaking through, fierce, loud, and entirely unstoppable. Think of a towering stone fortress that has been completely surrounded by hidden enemies for months in the freezing cold. Inside, you have been rationing your energy, fighting silently without an audience. There are no supplies coming in. There are constant draining attacks in the dead of the night, and everyone standing outside is just waiting, arms crossed, expecting your high walls to finally crumble into dust. The air inside is thick with exhaustion, the silence is deafening, and you are tired of always being the strong one. But the walls hold. The stone simply does not break. And then, one quiet morning, the heavy, suffocating fog suddenly lifts, and you look out from the highest tower to see that the enemy has completely retreated, leaving the path forward absolutely clear and bathed in warm, golden sunlight. That is exactly where you are right now, Aries. You survived the invisible siege when everyone around you secretly thought you would finally break. Your walls held strong in the overwhelming dark, and now the fog is lifting to reveal your beautifully open path. I saw you swallow your good news at that table because something warned you it wasn't safe to share. I watched you dim your brilliant light so the people around you wouldn't feel threatened by your massive fire. I felt the immense weight of the hot tears you cried at 3 a.m. when you thought I had completely forgotten about your relentless efforts. But I was never denying you, my child. I was hiding you in the shadows until this specific spiritual siege was finally broken. Now the chains are shattered, and I command you to step forward into the light. And this is why you cannot keep fighting this battle with physical weapons, exhausting your physical body for a war that is entirely energetic. There is a man who carried this exact same heavy siege for years on his own shoulders. He was brilliant, relentlessly hard-working, and deeply generous with his radiant fire. But every single time he was about to get the major promotion, buy his dream house, or secure a sliver of true peace, something completely bizarre and unpredictable would ruin it at the very last second. He was exhausted down to his bones. He genuinely thought he was cursed or that he was fundamentally broken inside. And then, he finally stopped trying to fight the physical world and chose to completely shield his spiritual field instead. He cut the invisible ties of envy that were tethered to his back. What changed in him first was the sudden, undeniable lightness in his chest, a deep breath he hadn't taken in years. And within weeks, the grand turnaround he had chased in the dark for a decade simply walked through his front door, effortlessly and completely unharmed. You are still processing this right now, feeling that sudden, sharp tingle of recognition at the base of your neck, and a deep, comforting release in your heavy chest. The deepest truth is still ahead, and it has your name. Now that you finally understand what has been standing in your way, you must also understand who you became while fighting this invisible war. You did not walk through this massive spiritual siege without it shaping your profound Aries soul. The universe watched how you handled the crushing weight, how you carried the deafening silence, and how you fiercely protected those around you, even when you had absolutely nothing left for your own survival. And inside this heavy battlefield, you naturally took on one of 3 specific roles. First, there is the exhausted pioneer. Aries clears the thickest, most dangerous paths for absolutely everyone else. breaking down the heavy doors for their family and friends, but is always left to walk the final mile completely alone. You generously gave away your map. You built the massive bridge with your bare hands, and yet, when it was finally your turn to cross to the other side, no one stayed behind to hold your hand or cheer for your victory. Second, there is the silent warrior. Aries fights their deepest, most agonizing spiritual battles entirely without an audience, swallowing their 3 a.m. tears so no one else feels uncomfortable with their pain. You stood in the dark, absorbing the heavy hits of envy and silent betrayal, completely refusing to ask for help because your fierce Aries pride convinced you that asking for support was a fatal sign of weakness. You bled in absolute silence so others could sleep peacefully. And finally, there is the hidden flame. Aries deliberately dims their blinding, radiant light simply to keep the fragile peace in the room. You shrunk your brilliant presence, swallowed your spectacular good news, and quieted your infectious laugh because you intuitively felt that the insecure people around you were getting burned by your massive success. You made yourself small just so they could feel tall. Notice your chest right now, Aries. Take a deep, slow breath and feel that sudden, undeniable warmth spreading across your heart. This warmth has a very specific name. It is the profound recognition of your own soul. You have been the pioneer, the warrior, and the hidden flame, carrying the overwhelming weight of everyone else's comfort while completely starving your own destiny. You spent years shielding everyone else. But this heavy season of sacrifice is officially over. Now that you know who you truly are, you cannot afford to walk unprotected anymore. To hold this new frequency, you must equip yourself with the digital book, the great secret behind the spiritual envy against the sign of Aries. It is waiting for you right now in the first pinned comment, because the fierce Aries who finally knows their own immeasurable value, but still doesn't know how to navigate the invisible siege that surrounds them, will inevitably go back to carrying heavy looks that are not theirs. Don't wait for the heavy looks to return before you learn to protect what is yours. You need the specific, energetic blueprint contained in this digital book to sustain this massive turnaround that was just unlocked for you. Click on the first pinned comment, download your copy right now, and claim the absolute right to shine without ever having to apologize for your blinding light again. I promised I would return to this. But before we move forward into the light, you urgently need to know exactly how this dense cycle will try to return to your life, because it will definitely try. I told you earlier that this dense cycle would try to return to your life, and you urgently need to know exactly how it operates. Because the very second you step into this massive new frequency and the barrier of the last step finally shatters, the invisible siege will aggressively test your new boundaries. It will try to creep back into your aura through 3 specific silent tactics over the next few days. The first tactic is the whisper of doubt. Tomorrow morning, when you wake up and realize that the heavy, suffocating weight on your chest is actually gone, a sudden intrusive thought will try to convince you that this massive turnaround is simply too good to be true. It will try to make you anticipate a hidden catch, a sudden fall. When that happens, your first weapon is your voice. I want you to declare out loud, firmly, and without hesitation, I deserve the light that finds me. Do not just think it in your mind, speak it into the physical space around you. That spoken vibration immediately shatters the doubt and reclaims your territory. The second tactic is the fake friend returning. The exact moment your energetic field rises and your turnaround begins to violently manifest. Someone from your past, someone who quietly faded away when you were struggling alone in the dark, will suddenly reach out with a warm, hollow smile. They will sense your renewed Aries fire from miles away and try to pull you back into their cold, stagnant orbit. Your second weapon is the action of absolute silence. Keep your biggest, most spectacular news entirely to yourself for the next 72 hours. Do not give them a single drop of your precious new momentum to feed on. Let them starve outside your walls. The third tactic is the fear of celebrating. As your hard-earned victory finally arrives, you will feel this sudden, completely irrational urge to hide it, simply so you do not make others uncomfortable with your brilliant success. You will find yourself in conversations where someone subtly tries to diminish your joy, draining your energy drop by drop with passive-aggressive comments. Your third weapon is a powerful physical boundary, Aries. The moment you are speaking to someone who drains you, simply cross your arms firmly over your chest. It is a profound, silent, energetic shield that instantly closes your aura, completely cutting off their dark access to your radiant light. These weapons I just gave you will protect your night, but to protect your entire life and guarantee that the turnaround stays, you have to go deeper into the digital book. The great secret behind the spiritual envy against the sign of Aries, because the cycle has far more complex layers than we can ever cover in one single video. For some of you, the attacks are going to get much subtler. When the bitter compliment returns, when a sudden delay tries to test your faith again, when that nameless exhaustion hits you, after sharing good news you cannot afford to be caught unshielded. I am not rushing you. I am warning you. Don't wait for the next invisible siege to open this map. This specific cosmic window of protection is uniquely open right now, and what you will discover inside this digital book is the complete blueprint of protection you need, so this siege never touches your progress again. It is waiting for you right now in the first pinned comment. Go there and secure your shield. Now, I need you to stop learning for a moment and start feeling. The deepest truth is still ahead, and it has your name. I need you to pause for a second. Right now, wherever you are, drop your heavy shoulders, unclench your jaw. Take a deep, slow breath and simply allow yourself to lower your guard, Aries. You have been fighting this invisible battle for so long, constantly braced for the next delay, the next sudden obstacle, that your physical body forgot what it feels like to just be safe. You don't need to fight this anymore. Let the sheer exhaustion catch up to you for just a moment, because what you are feeling right now is the absolute end of the war, not the beginning. Close your eyes for just 3 seconds. I want you to visualize thick, heavy chains wrapped tightly around your ankles and your chest, the exact places where you felt the crushing anxiety and the endless stagnation. Now see a blinding, warm red light descending from above, striking the chains. Hear them shatter like fragile glass. Feel the sudden rush of air filling your lungs, the extreme lightness in your shoulders. The weight is gone. The path ahead of you is completely clear, bathed in warm golden light. Breathe in the reality of your turnaround, and as you finally exhale, I want you to permanently release everything that was never yours to carry. Release the heavy weight of the unspoken eyes watching your every move. Release the suffocating guilt you felt for simply wanting to grow. Release the fake friendships that only wanted you around when you were small and struggling. It wasn't your fault that the door closed at the last second. It wasn't your fault that they completely misunderstood your brilliant fire. It wasn't your fault that you had to fight twice as hard for half the result. It wasn't your fault. It was the siege, and the siege is broken. Now, it is time to call your massive power back from the shadows and activate exactly who you were always meant to be. I speak directly to the exhausted pioneer inside of you. You will no longer build the heavy bridge for others and walk alone. Your path is now completely cleared for your own glorious victory. I speak to the silent warrior. You will no longer bleed in the dark to protect the peace of others. Your spiritual shield is fully up, and your energy is entirely yours again. I speak to the hidden flame. You will never again dim your massive, radiant light just to make insecure people comfortable. You will burn as brightly as the universe designed you to. You are still processing this right now, feeling that sudden, sharp tingle of recognition at the base of your neck, aren't you? Before we completely seal this powerful energy, write down in the comments the name of someone you are carrying with you in this crossing. Or if you are doing this just for yourself, write in one sentence exactly what you are expecting the universe to return to you. I will read it, and you will not write this alone. Don't let go of this energy just yet. We are not done. Stay with me. I place a shield over the walls of your home right now. I seal every drop of sweat and every quiet tear you poured into your relentless effort. I protect the massive victory that is already walking down the path toward your open door. I watched you fight alone in the dark when everyone else thought you were simply moving too slowly. I felt the immense weight on your chest every time you woke up at 3 a.m., crying out of pure frustration because it felt like I was completely ignoring your relentless efforts. But I was never ignoring you, my child. I was simply placing an invisible wall to stall your progress so you wouldn't walk unprotected into a room full of hollow smiles. I saw you swallow your good news at that table because something warned you it wasn't safe to share. I watched you shrink your brilliant fire and lower your voice just so the insecure people around you could feel comfortable in their own shadows. You thought you were failing, but I was actively breaking the connections that were silently draining your massive energy. That bitter exhaustion that washed over you after sharing your joy was not a physical weakness. It was my direct warning to your soul. I stalled your 99% guarantees because the final step would have exposed you to a heavy spiritual siege you were not yet equipped to fight. I let the room turn freezing cold the second you spoke, so you could finally recognize the unspoken envy that was trying to shrink your massive presence. You called it your own paranoia, but I gave you that profound spiritual perception so you could learn exactly who was clapping for your light and who was praying for your downfall. The invisible chains are now shattered, and the forced period of shielding is officially over. The turnaround you thought you lost was never destroyed. It was simply delayed, safely preserved in the spiritual realm, waiting for the exact moment you finally learned how to protect it. The sudden whisper of doubt that tries to speak with your voice ends right here. The fake friends waiting to feed on your rising energy end right here. The irrational fear of celebrating your hard-earned victories ends right here. Aries has never been too impulsive. Aries is not envied for arriving first. Aries is envied for having the courage others spend their lives pretending to have. Don't let go yet. The universe has just told you. I saw you swallow your good news at that table because something warned you it wasn't safe to share. And that is exactly why I need to remind you of something critical before sealing this energy. What was cut here today is absolutely real, but tomorrow morning, that heavy stare that will try to sit on your shoulders again when you wake up will desperately try to convince you that nothing has actually changed. The shadows will aggressively test your new boundaries to see if your door is truly closed. You must walk from today onward, carrying the digital book, the great secret behind the spiritual envy against the sign of Aries. It is waiting for you right now in the first pinned comment. You need the profound, complete energetic blueprint inside this digital book to sustain the shield we built in this crossing, so your turnaround is never stolen again. The path is completely open now, and the heavy lifting is done, but the armor must be worn every single day to protect your radiant light. Don't wait for tomorrow to test the armor we just forged today. There are thousands of Aries listening to this right now, feeling the exact same sudden lightness in their chest, standing in the very same silence as you. You are part of a massive wave of awakening fire. If this voice found you today, subscribe to the channel, not for the sake of numbers, but because the next message in this series is going to search exactly for those who have already crossed this first bridge. In the next video of this series, I'm going to reveal to you the specific sign that appears exactly 3 days before the invisible siege shatters, and why almost every Aries completely ignores it. Do not miss it. And still in this video, Aries, before I seal this hour with you, I come back one last time to this request. You have walked with me this far, you have crossed every word, every revelation, every sign. And if at any moment of this message you felt the universe touch you, you know this video was not an accident. The voluntary donation link remains open in the first pinned comment right below the digital book. Not as a charge, not as an exchange, but as a giving back from the one who received to the source this message came from. Any amount your heart points to, and the universe sees every gesture. The universe sees, and the universe multiplies over your home, over your days, over what you don't even know is about to arrive. This was my last request. I'll be waiting for you there. Thank you so much. And when the heavy look tries to return, remember the answer has a name, the great secret of spiritual envy, and it is already within your reach. The concrete of the dam is officially broken, and the massive river of your destiny is finally flowing forward with an unstoppable, fierce current. Now, you can let go. This message is complete. What was seen was seen, what was cut was cut. Walk light, Aries.